fascinatingly enough, I just had a conversation about this with a woman yesterday. I was in a coffee shop and I was doing some research. So I had all my Bible books out, and that caused this conversation with the woman working at the coffee shop. She's a Coptic Christian, as she was born and raised in Egypt in the Eastern Orthodox Church, which means, her roots geographically, historically, traditionally are some of the deepest Christian roots in the world. She is in a tradition that goes way, way back. And yet here she is living in the United States, and her daughter is attending a private school at Second Baptist. And her daughter comes home with all kinds of questions like, we learned that Jesus had brothers and sisters, Jesus had brothers, but Jesus didn't have brothers, did he? And so, she deals with her daughter about these things. But she mentioned that she had gone to a mom's Bible study group, and they'd be sitting around, they'd be studying the Bible. Someone would have a question about a Bible story or verse or whatever. And the women in the group would just sit there sharing their opinions and not knowing the answer. And she would say, well, why don't you go read the authority? Like, why don't you go ask your priest to point you to the church canon, the book, the description, the explanation of this doctrine, so that you can understand it? And of course, they're like, that doesn't exist, right? We just have, in Protestantism, we just have this huge plethora of opinions and explanations and authorities that all appeal ultimately to Scripture as their authority. But for her, it seems so bizarre. Like, if I'm reading the Bible and I have a question I don't understand, I go to my priest and I ask him, and he says, oh, this theologian wrote a book about that. Here's what it says. You can read it for yourself. So it is a very different experience.